Have you ever looked back at something you were absolutely sure about years ago and now realize that you think completely differently about it? As I've gotten older, I've changed my mind about quite a few things. Not because I was wrong necessarily, but because life has a way of teaching you things that you can't learn out of a book or from a quote on social media. So today, I thought I'd share a few things that I've changed my mind about over the years. Hi friends, I'm Mary Beth. Welcome back to Peace in Progress. So I used to think being busy was a good thing. I think we've kind of been sold on this idea that you have to be busy all the time, have a full schedule, always be doing something important, something productive. But now I realize that being busy and being fulfilled are actually two different things. We can keep ourselves busy, always doing something, to the point where we aren't really living in the moment exactly and analyzing or thinking about what we should be doing or what we want to be doing. What makes us happy? What brings us joy? Maybe for some people, being busy all the time does that for them. But for me, I started to realize that doing things all the time just kind of pulled me in too many different directions at once. I wasn't really able to focus enough on me. And I know part of that probably had to do with when I was younger, I was raising children, and kids always come first. Of course, is going to be more important than me working on a hobby. So naturally, as they got older and needed me less, I realized I can have time to work on myself or to work on hobbies that I enjoy. Some of the happiest moments in my life happened over quiet weekends, times that I was able to just work on my creative projects, or times that I just spent quality time with my family. Not necessarily doing anything exciting, but just laughing and joking and enjoying each other's company. I've learned that a full calendar doesn't necessarily make for a meaningful life, at least not for me. I used to think hobbies had to be productive, to the point where I didn't really have any hobbies because every time I learned how to do something, learned how to make something new, my immediate thought was, oh, I can sell this. I can make money doing this. And if I couldn't, then it would be something I wouldn't do anymore. I didn't really understand how working on a hobby was fulfilling in and of itself because it's not important or it's not productive. It doesn't contribute financially. But now I'm still working at this, but now I understand at least the concept that working on something creative that I enjoy, whether it's useful or can be sold or given as a gift, the value of it is the time spent doing it. And I can get lost in a project for days sometimes, and learning new skills is fun for me. And it doesn't matter anymore that it isn't going to be something I can sell. And it's helping me enjoy having free time to work on things. I don't have to be thinking about, well, what's the point of this? Or this is a waste of time. I am still working on it, but I definitely see the progress that I've made probably in the past year or so. When I was young, I assumed that when you became an adult, you just had everything all figured out. I mean, I looked at my parents, they had stable jobs, they had a house, they seemed to have everything figured out. I assumed that would happen to me too. And in a way, it has. But I've always struggled with finding a career that really fulfilled me. And at the age I am now, I probably won't ever have that. And for a long time, I was embarrassed about that. When somebody asked, like, what do you do? What's your job? And it was always a different answer. For a long time, I was a stay-at-home mom. And then I also had various online businesses, Etsy shop. I've just done a little bit of everything, it seems. And that embarrassed me until I had a friend who listened to some of my stories about the different businesses I've owned, the different things that I've done. And she was around my age. And she said, "Wow, that's so interesting. Your life is so fascinating. I've worked the same job for the last 35 years with my father, the same person. I don't have any interesting stories like that to tell." And it just gave me such a different perspective. Sometimes that's what it takes. Somebody on the outside will give you a different view into what you look like. And it really helped me realize that something I saw as a flaw actually is an asset. I have a lot of experience in doing a lot of different things and gives me something to talk about and makes me more interesting. And I know now it's okay to kind of maybe fail at something or make mistakes. I've made plenty and I had a few failed businesses, but I don't think of them now as failures. I think of them as learning experiences, which is what they are. Anytime we fail at something, something doesn't work out, we learn from it. You may not always know or realize what you've learned. You may not think it's useful, but a lot of times it comes back to you later and you can draw on that experience. So whether you've had the same job forever or have had a bunch of different jobs, they're both valid. They both have pros and cons, and it's something to think about. If you are tired of the job you've had forever, maybe think of trying something different. It's never too late. And I realize now I'm saying it's never too late. And I just said I probably will never have a career. But I'm just being honest with myself. I'm not even really looking for a new career. I'm fortunate to be able to kind of do a bit of this and a bit of that. And I'm happy with that for now. And it leads me into this next idea that changing your mind doesn't mean you aren't committed, doesn't mean that you aren't a disciplined person. Because I did feel that for a long time too. The fact that I was kind of going from doing this and doing that, it kind of felt a little bit like, do you have a commitment problem? Can you just not figure yourself out? But now I know it's okay to change jobs. It's okay to change your goals. It's okay to change relationships if things aren't working anymore. Everything that happens to you in life teaches you something. And growth sometimes looks like saying, I don't believe that anymore. This next one took me a long time, but I used to think that rest only came when everything was finished. And let's face it, everything is never finished. So it's been hard for me to be able to just rest. And of course, as I'm getting older, as we all are, sometimes I do get more tired and just feel like I just need to take a break. I've been working on something, cleaning the house or working outside, and I'm tired. I just need a break. It's okay to let it wait until tomorrow. Whereas in the past, I would just keep pushing through and get it done and be looking for something else to do, kind of tiring myself out needlessly sometimes. But rest is also about a mental rest, not just physical. So now I believe that rest is something we need. When we recognize that we need to take a break, we don't have to earn it by finishing the task. We can just rest when we need to, realizing that you'll be better able to complete your task once you feel able to again, rather than struggling through it, possibly hurting yourself or just stressing yourself out about it. It's okay to rest. And it's okay to rest if you've done absolutely nothing that day. Sometimes we just need a break. We just need time to do nothing. And now I know that's okay. And it's normal. I used to think maybe I'm the only one who's like this. Maybe I'm just lazy. But I've realized now that being able to understand when you need to take a break is really a form of self-preservation. And this is another one. I struggle with a lot of these, don't I? But when I was younger, for sure, I was always concerned about what other people thought about me. And maybe I still am a little bit. I do still feel a little defensive sometimes when I have to, or when I feel like I have to explain myself or defend my choices. But I have to remember I don't owe anyone else an explanation. But honestly, most people are not even paying much attention to everybody else. We're all a little self-centered. We're so focused on ourselves. We think everyone's looking at us, everyone's judging us. We might often feel judged, and it's probably more in your head than anything, especially if you've already had some of these insecurities about yourself. Then you just start to believe everybody's judging you. But if you realize that people are probably more busy just worrying about themselves, it's really freeing. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes still. So those are just a few things that I've changed my mind about over the years. There are probably others. As we age, we gain wisdom, we think of things differently, and we learn a lot from mistakes, from meeting new people and getting different perspectives, having new experiences. It just brings everything into focus in a different way than when you're younger. So I'd love to know, what's something you've changed your mind about as you've gotten older? Let me know in the comments. I always enjoy reading your perspectives. And as always, take care of yourself, and I hope to see you next time.